The one thing we were worried about the Knicks going into the playoffs is when will these guys start breaking down? Not if they will break down, if they stay healthy. No, it's more so like, all right, when's everyone getting hurt? Because they're just getting grinded into the freaking floor.
GMLB family, welcome back to another episode of Playoff. Good morning, Let's Basketball. I am your host, Mike Miles, and along with me are my three co-hosts, starting with the self-proclaimed podcast Equilibrium and viral Dunkin' Barista, Daniel.
Shannon Sharp lied to me. I lost a lot of money. Lakers not in 5.
Moving on, my other host, Big Macedonia and GMLB's Chief of Security. It's Big Kev. And finally, don't forget about the Atlanta Hawks' best shooting guard. It's Garrison Matthews, a.k.a. Vic Zuckerberg, the brains of the operation. Victor.
I didn't know that's what we were going for, but okay.
Yeah, that's right. We're bringing back intros to the podcast. We had intros at one point, let them go for a little bit. Now they're back. Welcome back to another episode of Good Morning Let's Basketball, GMLB family. We got a lot to break down today. It is currently Wednesday that we're recording this. It is the night of Warriors Rockets game 2, or I'm sorry, not game 2, game 5? Game 5 tonight? Game 5. Game 5 tonight, and Timberwolves Lakers game 5 as well. So if these episodes come out Friday. So if something happens tomorrow that's crazy, sorry, we faded it. We did not see it in time. But we are talking futures. We're not talking current playoff series today. We're going to talk about the series that are already over and kind of the outlook for those teams going into the next round. So starting us off, fellas, I guess we'll just we'll kind of break the ice here. Do you guys have any like playoff hot takes, like just anything you guys have seen over these current matchups before we get into the future stuff?
I'll say aggressive playoff basketball is good for the world and good for the United States of America, but it's getting to the point where it's a free for all. And a lot of these games are just like, oh my goodness, just who can take a bigger beating, aka the Knicks and Pistons series. Some games people feel like some teams might be getting hoed because of the officiating that's going on, but it's still better than the refs calling every single thing, even though they're still doing it for Brunson.
I will say, going along with that take, the Celtics, as a Celtics fan, this might sound soft, but bro, the Magic are literally injured 3 of our players like 3 different times. Like Tatum dang near snapped his wrist, Jaylen Brown dislocated a finger, and Kristaps Porzingis had to get 5 stitches. I'm almost like certain that team went into that series and in those games like looking to be so fit, like almost with the Jordan rules, like just like if they get in the paint, just like throw them on the floor, dude. I think that series was almost more physical than the Knicks Pistons, to be honest.
Feel like I didn't watch too many of the Boston Orlando games, but from what I did see, the Porzingis incident sucks that it happened, but like it was truthfully an accident because even Gogo afterwards, he was like, oh, damn. Like I just knocked his horn off. Like that's I dehorned the unicorn. That one was pretty bad. The Jaylen Brown thing, from what I remember, I thought it was like not that he like fell on his own, but like it being a basketball play. But it's interesting what you say about Tatum. I can't remember who said it. I can't remember if it was an analyst or like a former NBA player, whoever, it doesn't matter. They said it looked like KCP was like out to get Tatum. Like it looked like personal out there.
Dude,
Again,
it was a hard foul.
Again, I didn't watch too much of that series because I compared it heavily to the Miami Cleveland series. So I was like, I don't think I'm going to be missing a whole lot skipping any of these games. Therefore, I will forego it and watch them in round 2. So but I did see Kristaps Porzingis get bopped in 4K.
Daniel, what have you seen? You got any hot takes besides anything to do with Shaden Sharp, who we probably shouldn't talk about on this podcast anymore, considering
Oh
the
yeah,
allegations?
I completely forgot
Shannon
about
Sharp.
that. Um,
Yep, Shannon. Sorry. Shout
I
out
would
Sorry.
Shaden
say
Sharp.
the only thing that's really come to mind because like these series have been pretty entertaining. They're not lackluster like we've seen in the past. I mean, every team is good and I don't know. It's been really entertaining, but one of the things that stood out to me is that Timberwolves series. Um, just because I know, like you said, besides what I talked about at the intro, but a big argument that keeps like coming up there that I keep seeing is like the whole like, Jordan thing and like how would Jordan play in today's era? And I've always said this since the beginning. If you put Jordan in today's era and like give him the same access to everything or like give him the same buildup that he would have as like a college athlete into the NBA and all that, you would be looking at like Ant basically. And I just think it's so entertaining to see like the videos of JJ on the sideline and it's not a video, it's like a picture of him like on a clipboard and he's just like go out there and do something and like LeBron's like crying or something because he's like I can't. No, I mean the main thing is just that like Ant is really good, I guess, and he just elevates that team.
Yeah,
That's the only thing.
he did have 43 last game. And I love Ant. Victor does not like Ant. I like Ant. But Jaden McDaniels, I never got to do a top 5 favorite player series on this podcast. We never got around to getting to me. But Jaden McDaniels is like number 3 on that list. And this dude has been going crazy that entire series. I think he's honestly like the X factor of the series. Him or Nas Reed. It's got to be one of those two, right? I mean, Jaden McDaniels is like averaging upwards of 20 points right now in this series. Like, I mean, come on.
He's like Jimmy Butler, but worse. It's like, where is this during the regular season? During the regular season, you'll see him 6 points, 8 points, 11 points. Damn, he went off tonight, 11 points. Not that his job is to score, but like, I don't know, it kind of makes you wonder. Like
Oh,
if you put together a whole season of that, like he could be an all-star.
also against Luka Doncic as well, beating the Luka Doncic allegations from last year when he got literally cooked an entire Western Conference Finals by Luka Doncic. Looks like he's getting some revenge now with that Lakers matchup. But fellas, let's talk about the Cavs. All right. Really, with this Miami series, there's not a lot to talk about. I mean, there actually is one thing to talk about, and that's the fact that it's the record for the most lopsided series victory ever in NBA history. It's the biggest amount of point differential between two teams in a series. So let's look at some of these scores first. Game one, 121 to 100, so 21-point win. Game two, 121 to 112. Someone can do the math on that. That one's not horrible. But game three and four is where we get into we get into that complete breakdown of Heat culture because the Cavs come out and win 124 to 87. Can anybody do mental math on this podcast? What is the differential on that?
37 points.
37 points. And then we get to game four, 138 to 83 in Miami. Like,
55 points.
did they even did they even try? I
Wait, did you say
remember
128 or 138?
138, 138. I think 55 is right.
Okay, yeah.
Um, so I remember quick story here. I turned that game on to watch. I believe it was the first game of the night. And I was like, let's go. Let's go. Playoffs. I mean, the Cavs are going to win this, but hopefully it's entertaining. Nah, dude. I think the Heat, let me actually just look at this. Like at the end of I want to read the end of the first quarter score. At the end of the first quarter, it was 43 to 17. It's like, and it
Honestly, is
was. It was 43-14, but Davion Mitchell hit a half court shot. So like in reality, it was 41-14.
Like, as bad as it was to watch the Miami Heat before the Jimmy Butler trade, this was another series I just didn't bother to watch. And again, I really don't feel like I missed anything. I was able to see what I needed to see on Twitter with Darius Garland saying the Cavs' offensive scheme is to target Tyler Hero. And then after going down 3-0, Tyler Hero saying we're not going out 4-0, lose by 55. There was just not a whole lot to remember from this series. It kind of went exactly how I thought it was going to go. It actually went worse. So that's all the opinions I have on this series. I'll talk again when we talk about round 2 against Indiana.
Anything to say about the Bam situation?
What about it? What's the Bam situation? Did I miss something?
Just that
You didn't
Bam.
miss anything. It's
Yeah,
just
I mean,
whenever a team loses, people always just like to be like, damn, dude, he's gone.
Oh,
And that's what I feel like Daniels might be doing right now.
well, yeah, I guess you're right in a way. But it was just that like what I thought it was, and now looking at the article, I don't know if that's exactly what it is Bam Adebayo predicts a lot of changes from Pat Riley, basically. But the way I remember seeing the video, the way that he like addressed it was very like, oh, like it was kind of like he was upset about Pat Riley being the president of the Heat organization. So I don't know. It was just one of those things where Bam could be a free agent soon. No, I'm kidding. No, I don't know.
yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think it's always good to speculate on trades, but I I don't think Bam's leaving. But I think Heat culture was pretty much Jimmy Butler culture, and now that Jimmy Butler's gone, I was watching another podcast, and the host made a great point and said that this season for the Heat was about Jimmy Butler leaving. It wasn't about basketball anymore. And that's just a really good take, man. like, the first 10th seed, right? They were the first 10th seed to ever make the playoffs. How'd that work out? What's the outlook on the play-in tournament after something like that?
I mean, not saying, not that I would like love to have seen the Chicago Bulls play Cleveland, because at the end of the day, like, who cares? Obviously, the 1 seed 9.5 times out of 10 is going to win that game. I'm not sure if the play-in tournament has anything to do with it. Maybe more so on the Eastern Conference. It might be a little stupid. But the West, we see a current play-in team that's beating a 2 seed that we're going to get into later. Obviously, that being a little bit more of a competitive conference. But yeah, the lower tier teams in the East, like teams 8 to 10, 8 to 11, are definitely worse, way worse than the options they have over there in the West. That's not a secret.
Yeah, that is the obvious fact there. But let's move on to. We talked a little more about the Heat than I would have liked. I would have preferred if we just straight up did not touch on the Heat, but I am the host, so I will take ownership for that. So let's move on here. Let's go to the Pacers, who got it done against the Milwaukee Bucks. And that game, Gary Trent Jr., you live by Gary Trent Jr. and you die by Gary Trent Jr. Because, fellas, I know Victor and I were watching the game live when it happened on Discord. Did you guys catch the end of the game live, or did you just watch the recap? Because I know Pistons Knicks was overlapping, and I know that series is a lot more entertaining, especially I think to all four of us. But did you guys catch the end of that game live?
I wasn't able to catch it live, but I did watch like a recap of the fourth quarter, basically rewatched the fourth quarter. Bucks fans cannot be mad at Gary Trent Jr. because he is the reason that you guys were even able to compete in overtime. Yes, the ball slipped through his hands, but I mean, they weren't coming back 3-1. Like, let's keep it, let's be realistic here. Dame's out. Unfortunately suffered that torn Achilles injury, which sucks because they're not even going to have him next year. God knows where Giannis is going to be. It's not looking really good. But yeah, Miles, you pretty much hit it. Like I was watching the Knicks and Pistons game. Kind of wish I watched that one instead, but then again, like I thought of watching Milwaukee Bucks basketball after a long day of work, and I was like, no.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I just had seen the recap and nothing interesting was going on over there. He like you said, Bucks fans cannot be mad. This is more of just like a thing of congratulations to Indiana fans in a way, because there like Kevin said, there was no, yeah, they had already beat them, so there's nothing really to say.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Welcome
Thank
back,
you.
Victor.
I just want to say, dude, that game was probably the best game I've seen in the playoffs so far. That was just a really good game from the fourth quarter to overtime. And dude, it felt like Gary Trent couldn't miss. Like watching him freaking hoop was insane. And dude, I love the Pacers slogan right now. Yes, sirs. That's a sick slogan. I love it.
Mm, all right, I'll refuse. I will refuse to hate on the Pacers this podcast. All right.
Trash.
I will not slander the Pacers because I feel like as a host I have become the Pacers slanderer. Kevin has been my wingman with Tyrese Haliburton slander, so I will refrain from the Pacers because they did just get a very convincing win over the Bucks. Absolutely took over overtime. They were not supposed to win that game. I believe they were down 7 with like 37 seconds, give or take. They were not supposed to win that game. Bucks 2 turnovers, one on an inbounds play, the other one Gary Trent just dropped the ball. He had 33 points. Um, I know at one point he outscored the Pacers in overtime. He had 12. 4 threes hit. He might have hit another one. I don't really remember. Vic, if you want to pull the stats on that, not too important. But 8 for 17 from three. He had 37 in game three. I mean, he was the X factor of the series. Unfortunately, he dropped the ball. If you've been living under a rock, I'll fill you in. They threw a pass to Gary Trent. Wasn't the greatest pass after AJ Green was getting doubled with a one possession game. There were what, like 10 seconds on the clock or so. And he dropped it out of bounds. No one guarding him dropped it out of bounds. So that was unfortunate. Cost the Bucks the game. Tyrese Haliburton comes down and makes a game-winning layup over Giannis. And then let's talk about the actual part we want to talk about here. Giannis is petty. Giannis is petty? Question mark. What did you guys
No.
think of that post game? Getting in a fight, not physical, but an altercation with Tyrese Haliburton's dad and Benedict Mathurin.
Do you think it was
No,
Giannis's
he-
fault?
Halliburton's dad was completely in the wrong. As a fan, it doesn't matter if you're a parent. You should not walk on the court at all. Like the fact that he was able to just freelance right on the court and just wave a towel or whatever that stupid flag or whatever he had was in the player's face. He was completely in the wrong for there. If Giannis could have done a lot, Giannis could have done way worse in that situation. If there's a headline that he just popped Halliburton's dad in the mouth for waving that flag in his face. Nah, that was Halliburton's dad was out of line for that. 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess to me it just depends on if Halliburton's dad or if Giannis had said anything to Halliburton's dad leading up to it. Because I don't really care as much for, it's his dad. Like he's allowed to me he should be allowed to celebrate, go up to his son, find him on the court. Maybe not. Maybe you guys disagree. But um I would wonder if Giannis had said something to him, because the way that it looked is like he walks out and then, like you said, Kevin, he just basically turns and starts waving the flag in Giannis's face. That's what it looks like. So if nothing was ever said to him, then I would agree. I mean, and Hallie even agreed too. So I guess that's kind of the end of the story. Halliburton agreed that his dad was in the wrong. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he can go on the court and celebrate with the son, but that's not what he did. He went on the court and taunted the opposing team's best player. Clown.
yeah.
Yeah,
Trash.
I don't think Giannis was in the wrong at all, and I think I will really wonder what happened with Benedict Mathurin. I'd assume he was talking trash too, the same as Halliburton's dad, because there's no reason why after dapping or Benedict Mathurin up that Giannis would react that way unless he was talking trash.
Yeah, I think the hypothesis stands. The Pacers talk a special kind of trash, dude. I think everyone and their moms wants to fight the Pacers at some point. I think they just get under your skin. Like
Even
that, I'm telling you, everyone, Tyrese voted most overrated player. They're all
Uh-oh.
always getting in fights. It seems like the entire NBA just like not they're not feeling him like that, bro. And I know everyone's getting in fights in the playoffs, but regular season, they got in a lot of fights. They got in a lot of fights this season. I think they talk a special kind of trash. I don't know what they're saying, but it's something personal. It's
Yeah.
something personal.
I think the special kind of trash they talk is when they're up at minimum 30 points or when the game's completely over. Trash. I can't wait until Cleveland plays them.
and
It's going to be great.
it's not even just like NBA teams hating them as well. Like currently, it's even retired players coming out and saying that they don't like Halliburton and the Pacers as well. We've seen the beef with Tim Hardaway Sr.
Trash.
Yeah, I'll say just to review some of the comments made by Giannis about the situation. He said, Tyrese's dad coming on the floor and showing me his son, a towel with his son's face on it, yelling, "This is what we do. We do this." I feel like that's disrespectful. Losing the game, emotions run high. Uh, yeah, I don't agree with what transpired there. Some people, here it is, a lot of people out there, they're like, no, when you win the game, you talk smack, and it's a green light for you to be disrespectful towards somebody else. I disagree. Was it emotions running high, or was let me actually, I didn't get my take. Let me drop my take real quick. I don't think what Tyrese's dad did was that bad. I think it was just a very emotional moment. I think Giannis in a normal circumstance, if this wasn't the like series ending game, if this was like the game before it and he did that, I don't think Giannis would do anything. I think he'd be the bigger person. I think he's more mature than that. But I think because of the game and the way they lost, I think that's the only reason this happened.
I don't know, man. The way I see it, only players and coaches should be on the court. I don't care if it's whoever's dad. Like it's because he's lucky Giannis isn't a crash out. Like if he walked up to beef stew and did that,
I knew it. I
Mister
knew it.
Mister Halliburton would be pooping his teeth out for the next 3 weeks. I don't know. You just can't. I don't know. I just didn't like it. It rubbed me the wrong way.
Like father, like son. That's what they say.
Yeah, but I wanted to ask you guys, so with the Pacers playing the Cavs next, what do you guys think that series is going to go to? Do you guys think the Pacers are going to be able to keep up with the Cavs? Four.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'll do
I
Pacers.
could
Oh, go ahead.
say Cavs in 6.
I don't want to be disrespectful. The Pacers are really good, but the Cavs are a lot better.
Number
I
one team in the NBA?
I want to go. I want to go
You,
Cavs in 5. I think they can get it done in 5.
I'm gonna go Cavs in 5 too. I like that one better.
I'm gonna go Cavs in 5. I want to say Cavs in 6 because like I really don't want to hate on the Pacers, but I genuinely feel Cavs in 5. I think the Pacers will steal one.
I'm going Cavs in 6. Actually, I changed my answer. Cavs in 7. They're gonna push them all the way to the end.
Because when I'm See, that makes me think now because when you factor in the momentum of like this series versus like the Cavs Heat,
Yeah.
like the Cavs really had no competition the whole series. So it's like, who's going to be more fired up to compete? But on that same token, the Cavs up 3-0 came out and blew Miami out by 55. So like I don't know if I can even make the argument that there's a chance that they're like not ready. You know what I mean? I
They're
think
ready.
Cavs in 5. Cavs in 5. Vic, what's your prediction?
I think it's gonna be a good series. I think the games are gonna be a lot closer than the Heat. You know, that was a
I would hope so.
yeah, that was a trash series. But I think it's gonna be Cavs in 6.
Okay. Cavs in 6. So we got 2 Cavs in 5s, 1 Cav in 6, 1 Cav in 7. No one's taking the Sirs on this one.
Nah, I'm in.
This season series is one and I think the Pacers only won one game.
So here's the
No,
question.
wait.
Bro, given here comes the false stats
Oh
again.
my gosh.
Bro, always be giving stats and then
No,
being like, wait. right
I
after.
know. I gotta stop doing that. But no, the Cavs have only won one game against them in 4. So the Cavs are 1-4.
This is the playoffs, though.
No,
That
I know.
is definitely valuable. But I don't think it's going to change my prediction here. How many of those games were played before the deadline when they got DeAndre Hunter?
Probably all
Uh,
4.
so 2 of them were played before the deadline, 2 of them after, and the 2 after were both L's.
Dang. Okay, well, there goes that argument. We crumple that up and throw that out. I don't know, man. I guess it's just better team wins. But you know, we do in the GMLB Discord, we do have a couple, actually only one Pacers fan. Which the way he talks, he counts as 10 Pacers fans. We might have to kick him out soon, and I know he's listening to this. So, but um, yeah, Cavs in 5. It's gonna be a wrap, I think. Here's the question. Let's get the brain gears turning here. If the Pacers somehow squeak out a series win against the Cavs, do they beat the Celtics?
No.
No.
They carry the momentum. I believe.
Yes,
I know
sir.
I know some Pacers fans last year said, "Bro, we can beat the Celtics. It was close last year." And I was like, "Yep, a close sweep." What the hell's close about a sweep?
The Pacers, to be fair, you're right. But the Pacers did throw away 2 of those games. It really should have
Yeah.
been Celtics in 5. I would
Yeah.
not push for Celtics in 6, but it should have been they should have gotten at least 1.
That's true. And we could
Right.
sit here and say, could have been, should have been. They could have done this, but the game's over when the clock reads 4 zeros.
Craziest thing a Pacers fan has ever said to me was they were trying to flex their ABA championships.
Who? Who did that?
It was Quinn.
Oh wow. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. He's getting a text after this. So Cavs Pacers, fellas. We all made our predictions. How do we think the series is going to go? Let's talk dynamics. Let's make a couple predictions here. Who's going to be the X factor for, let's say, the Cavaliers here to really get it done? Actually, let's flip that. Who's going to be the X factor on the Pacers if they're going to win this series? What's it going to take?
Gonna take Andrew Nemhard.
I was going to say it's going to be the defense that Nemhard and Haliburton are going to have to play. They cannot hide Haliburton in this series.
Who's he going to
There is
guard?
nowhere for him to hide.
He's probably
Probably
going to guard
The
Garland.
the defense that the Pacers guards are going to have to play is the X factor.
Hmm. Do we think Andrew Nemhard can cause problems for Donovan Mitchell, who's probably going to be his matchup? Actually, no. You know what? I lied. They're probably going to put Aaron Nesmith on Donovan Mitchell, and they'll probably put Andrew Nemhard on Struce, is what I would think they would do, and keep Hallie and Garland guarding each other.
Wait, hold on. Who'd you
Uh,
say?
I said
Hallie
Nesmith
guarding
will
who?
Garland.
I
Because
don't.
Halliburton
I don't.
can't guard anyone else in that lineup.
What about Strus?
No, bro. No. They
Saying,
might
dude, you
put him
can't
on
hide him.
Strus, but then what happens when DeAndre Hunter checks in?
Yeah, you can't have Halliburton guarding DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah, it's like I
That's
guess like yeah, they're the same height, but hypothetically, you want to put I don't know, man, because they're gonna run Strus off screens. I'm not really convinced that Halliburton can chase screens like that. They might do it. Rick Carlisle, he's a man of chess. He knows how to play games, but so does Kenny Atkinson. So I think that matchup is probably what's going to determine like the lineups. I think if Halliburton is obviously going to start, they might go ahead and just start DeAndre Hunter this series and just create a complete complete mismatch at all of the positions in the backcourt.
just have the throw out the FU lineup. They might. It could possibly. We might see DeAndre Hunter play an insane amount of minutes in this series. He already plays a lot, but like you said, he could play like the exact minutes of a starter pretty much. Either way, I like either lineup they have out there. They match up really well, and I think the Cleveland is just going to out rebound the hell out of Indiana as well.
Yeah, my thing is, we're also forgetting a significant forward in the rotation here. What about Dean Wade? When Dean Wade checks in, and Halliburton has to guard Dean Wade, who's 6'9", what is and can play all three levels of the floor. What does he do then? I'm
They're gonna ha-
just
they're gonna have to call the U.S. National Guard.
At that point, he'll probably switch on to like Garland or whatever guard is on the floor at that point.
yeah,
But even
it's
that, we're taking that.
um yeah, this is gonna be a true chess match between these two teams. But again, no one answered my question here. Who's gonna be the X factor for the Pacers?
I did. I said the
Yeah,
Pacers guards playing defense.
Okay,
I said Andrew Nemhard. I think if he,
why?
I think if he stays hot like he has been playing, and he's just lighting it up from behind the arc, I think it's gonna make it tough for the Cavs, dude. Because that Pacers offense is fast and one of the fastest in the league, if not the fastest in the playoffs right now. And I think they're gonna make that defense work for the Cavs and get really good possessions out of them.
Yeah, I think the X factor for the Pacers is hoping that Pascal Siakam morphs into 2019 Kawhi Leonard.
Or
That's my hope.
2019 Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, but no.
No, he needs to step up from Pascal Siakam, man.
Yeah. I really don't know what honestly because like the Cavs are just so solid. That's what I keep coming back to. Like I could sit here and I don't know. Yeah, I guess the X factor to me um would just be carrying that momentum as an offense against Cavaliers who are definitely better in pretty much every department.
Yeah.
Run and gun.
I'm gonna have to go with if by some way they go forward and win this series. I think it's gonna come down to Miles Turner and the Jared Allen matchup. I think having Jared Allen guard you, Defensive Player of the Year candidate, can guard wings, can guard guards. He's probably, outside of Bam and Mobley, like top five, top three maybe versatile defender in the NBA. Uh, the guy can guard, and I don't think it's not like, you have Brooke Lopez or Bobby Portis on you this series like Miles Turner had last series. You're going to have Jared Allen on you. And if you cannot stretch the Cavs out enough and you're not going to hit your shots, then it's going to be a really hard series. And of course, you would laugh at that with your dirty mind. Don't
No,
don't
I
no,
saw.
don't say anything.
I
I
the
know
reason
what you
I
did.
the
I
reason I
know what you
laughed was
did.
because Daniel. You should have saw Daniel's reaction to when you said that.
But yeah, Miles Turner had a really good series. against the Bucks, 19, 15, 23, 21. He did have one down game, game 3. He only had 6 points, but that was only in 24 minutes. Shot 11% from the field. That's just a funny stat on paper. But yeah, shot great from 3, shot great from the field. And of course, that was a lot due to his matchup. I mean, he played Brook Lopez off the floor. So now you have Jared Allen on you. Can Miles Turner be effective? Is he going to be able to rebound the ball? Is he going to be able to stretch the floor and get shots off? Because once you get in that pick and roll, there's no pick and pop. Like they're just going to switch the screen. All of those guys can guard all 5 positions pretty much, besides Garland. Well, okay, that's a really hot take. Let me take a step back there. When they have their versatile lineup in, when they have Mitchell and Garland in, that's give or take. But yeah, Miles Turner is my pick for the X factor of the series there.
Good pick.
Thank you.
We've been talking about Cleveland for a fat minute.
I know, and that's because this
Best
is
team
the
in the league.
yeah. I think we kind of failed to touch on them a lot during the season, so I think they're due. They're definitely due to be touched on a little bit. Pause again.
Maybe we'll be talking about them in June.
No, we won't be.
And
Because
we'll
I
be
would really
talking
like
about
to see that.
destination spots for Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
that's crazy. Let's move on. Let's talk about him then. Let's talk
You
about the
hit a soft
Celtics.
spot.
Yeah, let's talk about the Celtics here. Did away with Orlando. Orlando stole a game. That's okay. I had Celtics in 5. Actually, I think I had Celtics in 4. But it's okay. I'm not surprised that Orlando found a way to get one win. So, Celtics will play the winner of New York and Detroit. First of all, I think we all want to see Detroit advance. So let's start here. Do we think Detroit's actually going to do it? And I will start off and say no. I think the Knicks get it done tomorrow.
They're going back
They
to the
don't get
Detroit.
if they don't get it done tomorrow, the NBA is not going to let Detroit beat New York game 7 in New York. That's simply not going to happen. They're not going to miss out on a Boston New York matchup in the playoffs to go to the conference championship. They're not missing out on that.
All right, can we just imagine how much the tickets for a game 7 for Pistons and Knicks is going to cost at Madison Square Garden? I heard the playoff one of the games at New York was the get-in price was like $400.
I would argue too that like that game 7 would be more entertaining than Cleveland versus the Knicks.
Yeah.
What?
I agree with that actually. I
And
think
I
the
think you see
Pistons
my
are way
point
more
there.
fun to watch than the Cavs.
Like, are you talking about in the Eastern Conference Finals?
Potentially.
Oh,
Like
okay.
you could look at it like that. I know, but like
Okay.
if you're a business owner, you could be like, well, it's not guaranteed.
So, fellas, Knicks or Detroit? Me and Kevin have Knicks. Daniel Vick, who are you taking? Do you think the Pistons can actually do it?
No, man. I really want them to, but it's just going to be tough for them to do it 2 more times, especially if they go back to Madison Square Garden on game 7. That arena is going to be loud, and it's just going to be hard for them to do it.
Yeah, I mean, comeback story for the ages. You know, Pistons are a very solid team now, and I think next year they'll give another Eastern Conference team a good running for a good run for their money. But this year, I think the Knicks just have a little bit more to lose. Or sorry, I was trying to be funny and say like they have a better chance at winning just to lose, but it didn't come out right.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You'll bounce back.
I mean, the crazy thing is I think the Pistons have won majority of the quarters that they've played. They should have won that one game where Tim Hardaway Jr. got fouled on the arm. If that was Jalen Brunson, dude, foul call immediately. I think that was kind of BS that they didn't call the call. And then it was funny yesterday, Jalen Duren, he fouled Jalen Brunson, and he was looking at Brunson and he was like, "You flopping MF."
Yeah. Um, so Daniel, you still didn't answer. Knicks or Detroit, man?
Did I really not? Oh, sorry, Knicks. Yeah, Knicks.
Okay.
My fault. I was saying Knicks are better equipped to win, and they will win in order to lose.
Okay. Now I see where you're going. So Celtics Knicks. Let's talk about it real quick. So let's say the Knicks get it done in 6 or 7 games. Could close it out tomorrow. Might be a little longer. We'll see. Celtics Knicks. After seeing the Knicks struggle against the Pistons, let me pose this question. Do we think Detroit is a grittier defense than the Celtics right now, just based off eye test?
Yeah, for the simple fact that they literally have nothing to lose. This team won 14 games last year or something along those lines. A super young team. No one's really expecting a whole lot of them, a whole lot out of them in the playoffs. I mean, like I've said on previous podcasts, like this is the first time a lot of these guys have been on a decent NBA team because of how young they are and how bad the Pistons have been. When you're playing like you have absolutely nothing to lose and you have a team full of crash outs, you're gonna like you're gonna play some pretty good defense. You're gonna get under some people's skin. Like they do that well. Whenever there's a loose ball, dude, they're on it. Like
Yeah.
they're very well coached.
I will say the numbers for the playoffs this season have Boston at number 3 at a defensive rating of 104, and they have Detroit at number 6 for 110. But with that being said, you know, Boston is playing Orlando. Boston is playing one of the worst offenses in the league. So I don't know how much those numbers actually like are skewed, considering we're only taking into account playoff games here. Uh, because, you know, I think the Knicks, who have been relying on offense the whole season, probably have a much better chance at scoring than the Orlando Magic on the Celtics. So I think that these numbers might be skewed a little bit, but the numbers say Boston by about 3 spots. But truthfully, when I look at it with the eye test, it really does seem Detroit is the tougher defense. The Celtics also haven't even had Drew Holiday for half of that Magic series. So truthfully, yeah, Detroit's defense is probably better. All
I
right.
thought you
So
were
with
about to
that
say
being
something.
said, yeah, okay. Well, with that being said, the reason why I asked that is because now that the Knicks are going to play the Celtics, do you think they open up their offense a little more,
They're
or do
gonna
you
The Knicks
have
think,
and the
to.
Celtics.
yeah, the Knicks? Do you think the Knicks open up their offense a little more playing the Celtics now?
Well, so the fourth quarter offense is Brunson get the ball, run a couple pick and pops with Cat, but the main objective draw foul, go to the lane, draw foul. The thing with their offense is, I think OG is going to be absolutely huge in this series for their offense. I mean, you guys know how I feel about Josh Hart. If he's able to hit his threes, he's been a little inconsistent against Detroit. I can't remember if it was game 2 or 3 where he hit like 3 or 4 threes in the first quarter. If he does that every single game, that's going to be a big help. You know what you're getting with Cat. You know what you're going to get with Brunson. He does shoot a lot, but he's putting up points. I mean, it kind of happens when you shoot a lot. It makes sense, but he's the point guard. OG is going to be really, really big in that series against Boston, both offensively and with everything he's expected to do on defense as well. Hopefully, his body can keep up. Because if not, they are screwed. They're
Well,
so screwed.
I don't know
well,
why
the
that
thing
made me
about
laugh.
the
So
thing about the Knicks this season is there was a report that came out that they're the healthiest team in the league for like based on injuries and stuff that every team has had. They're number one at healthiest, and then at the bottom was the Mavericks because they took the Mavericks sports medicine guy they signed them this season.
Victor and this doctor, man.
I don't.
Jimmy.
Vic, I see where you're going, but truthfully, I don't think it's that different. I don't think it. I don't think that's the reason why. Truthfully, I don't think one guy could ensure that big of a difference.
Hey man, it makes sense.
I see the
With no
correlation.
context, yes.
I understand the correlation, but yeah, I mean, the one thing we were oh my god, drop my mic. The one thing we were worried about the Knicks going into the playoffs is when will these guys start breaking down? Not if they will break down, if they stay healthy. No, it's more so like, all right, when's everyone getting hurt? Because they're just getting grinded into the freaking floor.
It's everyone getting hurt.
And like I mentioned, Brunson, he tweaked his ankle like once or twice
Oh yeah.
in the Pistons series. There was one time where he was like running out. I think he was like closing out, and like the floor in MSG literally like shifted, and he like his ankle, and it looked pretty bad. That hurts, and that pain lingers. And like I mentioned, if OG gets hurt, cancel it.
Josh Hart also got hurt last game. Don't forget as well.
See, I think that's when the Knicks last season they got hurt starting the second round. That's when a lot of their players were starting to get hurt. I think Josh Hart had that abdominal injury. Then Mikal Bridges. No, not Mikal Bridges.
OG hurt his hamstring.
Yeah.
And Brunson broke his hand, but he did play the whole second series. I think that was a game 6. He broke his hand.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, wheels
So,
fell
yeah.
off pretty quick.
Yeah.
They did.
So
They did fall off
Celtics
pretty
gotta.
hard.
So if that keeps up this, like last year, Celtics got a ECF.
I mean, they got the ECF anyway,
Yeah.
even if they were
True.
healthy.
Yeah.
But yes, that is true. The thing about OG though, right? So his matchup this whole series has been Cade. It's been Cade Cunningham for Detroit. Cade obviously struggled in game 1. 21 points on 38 shooting from the field, 25 from 3, but he still dished out 12 assists. So like I think I pushed the narrative a little too hard a couple episodes ago that Cade was sucked. He did. The stats don't show it. The eye test did because he did have 6 turnovers. Cade's kind of figured it out. He just had a triple. Did he? I thought he had a triple double. Didn't he get a triple double? Yeah, I'm sorry. Game
Yeah.
4, 25, 10, and 10. He had that triple double. He's definitely figured it out. 33 after game 1, 24, 25, 24. Of course, he's getting his usual assists 11, 10, 8. But the turnovers. OG has been turning Cade over. So 6 turnovers, game 1, 5 in game 2, 6 game 3, 7 game 4, 5 in game 5. So we know that Cade Cunningham is prone to turnovers. We knew it during the season. During the regular season, he averaged 4.4. So how much of that do you think is OG Anunoby versus just like his natural style of play?
I honestly think that's on his natural style of play because I remember last season he averaged 4 to 5 turnovers just off the top of my head, and his turnovers were pretty high this season too. He's like top 4, top 3 in turnovers, just as like a player.
I think it's like a coming of age thing, to be honest. Not to sound like a broken record, but a lot of times he just kind of dribbles himself into a bad situation. Like dribbling down and like he likes to shoot in the mid range. Sometimes he'll dribble down in there and pick it up, and like he'll like hold the ball over his head like pretty weakly, and they'll get like poked out. So it's like simple fixes that he can make, but I don't think it's like him making these mistakes. I think it's just habits that he's had and stuff that he's been able to get away with in like high school and college that you can't really get away with necessarily in the NBA playoffs of all places. So I think it's like little bad habits that he's developed over his like life as a hooper. Because it looks really simple out there when you see him turn the ball over. It's like you picked it up when there's 3 people around you. One of them's OG Anunoby, like an all NBA defender. Like, yeah, they're gonna get it from you. This is your first time in the playoffs. I think it's just bad habits. He does have the clutch gene though, which is great to see. He's hit some big shots in this series, and he hit a massive one last game to keep the series alive.
I just looked it up, just to bring into the stats or whatever. So Cade, he led or not led the league. He was second in the league for 4.4 turnovers a game behind Trae Young, and then he had 309 turnovers total in the season behind James Harden and Trae Young.
It like makes sense in a way though. This guy has the ball 90%
Yeah,
of the time.
and that's gonna happen too when you're the primary ball handler, and your usage rate is high.
Well, don't forget Tyrese Haliburton though.
Yeah,
That's a
but
different case.
He's the primary
with,
ball handler with the ball in his hands all the time. It's kind of the same case.
But dude,
true.
he just is
I don't like
different
how he
with
hunts
it.
for assists.
Yeah, it's the assist to turnover ratio is a lot different between those two players.
But that's
But
like
They
the
that's
definitely
like
are
same with
different.
that's
Chris
like the
Paul.
ceiling. That's like the ceiling though.
I would say I think Cade might be a little bit. Now, people are going to crucify me for a second, but just for 30 seconds, hear me out, please. I think Cade might be a better playmaker just because Halliburton gets more assists. I feel like people think he might be a better playmaker. I feel like he hunts a little bit. They also play a lot faster. So getting the ball up the court, that's why I feel like he gets a little bit more assists. He does hunt for them sometimes. He'll pass out of like a layup or like a good mid range shot, just like whip it across court or to whoever to get that assist. I
I
feel like
really,
Cade might create offense slightly better, just slightly better.
I really don't think it's necessarily Tyrese hunting for assists. I just think he's just not aggressive scoring wise. I don't think he's really looking for the shot. I think he just prefers playmaking over it because, like you said, there's been so many times where I watch him play and he could get an easy bucket and he just prefers to pass it. I think that's
That's hunting
just
for assists.
it just sounds bad. That
Yeah,
term
it
just
is
sounds
bad.
bad.
Yeah, that's
It
my
just
point.
has like a negative connotation. And
It
I
You
should.
don't
know, I used to think that he did that, and I used to blame the pace of play. But honestly, I'm in the boat now that Halliburton is really good at getting in the lane and passing, like creating shots. Yes, probably two or three of those assists a game are good for passing it up the court and someone hits a three. But I am in the boat now that like I do disagree with you guys. I think he creates a lot of shots.
I didn't
Uh,
say that.
I didn't say that he doesn't create offense. He does. I just think Cade does it better.
no,
I
you
mean, you don't
guys
get
you guys said it's mainly due to the pace of play and that
I
it's
didn't
mainly due to him, not like he's hunting assists.
what I
I
was
didn't
trying to say is like them having like a different style of play. I feel like in the half court, I probably should elaborate a little bit better. In the half court offense, I feel like Cade is a little bit better at creating actual offense than Halliburton might. He's a great passer, don't get me wrong, and he does create a lot of offense, but with pace of play, I think might help slightly. And he is really good at getting to the lane. That's one thing I noticed. I mean, the game winning shot he had the other night, he got right to the basket. He could do that more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does he have to? Probably not, because again, they do have great shooters and it works for them. But with the collapse and him being able to dish, he'll do like the kind of no look pass where he'll like see the guy, throw it, then look away. That's
My
really
thing is
funny.
like, imagine how many assists he would get if instead of Miles Turner, he had a lob threat. I think Halliburton would average like 14 assists if he just had like a really good, like top of the league lob threat. Like if you gave him like Derek Lively, like dude,
Giannis.
I mean, in a vacuum, yes. Giannis is a really good lob threat, but like he
Yeah.
doesn't play that way. So like yes, in a way, yes.
I just wanted to make the trade, the fake trade.
You didn't propose
That'll
a
never
trade.
happen.
You didn't
I
propose a
just
trade.
that's true.
All
I
he
did
said
just say
was
Giannis.
he just said Giannis.
Yeah,
Daniel,
Daniel.
you would even get a lot of assists with playing with Giannis.
I probably.
All right. So, what were we talking about? I don't know how we always go back to Tyrese Haliburton, but we always get back to him.
You
We were
guys were
talking
talking.
about the Celtics. We were talking about the Celtics versus Detroit, or I'm sorry, Celtics versus the Knicks. Personally, my prediction here is I think OG is going to cause Tatum some problems. The difference is Cade doesn't play physical. Cade is a player who is a severe passing threat, first of all, and he's also a player that is looking to get in the lane and pass, right? But Tatum is a player who wants to be physical. He's a player who wants to back down in the post with his post touches. He's a player who's going to look to beat you off the dribble and try to beat the help to the rim. And I think OG is a player who wants to play physical. Cade's not a physical player. Cade scores in different ways. Tatum, he wants to play physical, bro. And I think that's OG's game. Now, Tatum does have the 3-point shot. Cade does not. I mean, he does have the 3-point shot, but he's not shooting 10 attempts a game like Tatum is. So that's a different factor. But I think Tatum's just going to struggle a little bit more. Well, definitely a little bit more, but I think he's going to struggle a little more than usual during this series. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and I respect the acknowledgement of the good defender the Knicks have. But then again, Josh Hart's guarding Jaylen Brown. Yeah, he's gonna absolutely toy with him.
Well, I think they'll probably put McHale on him, to be
Oh
honest.
yeah, I forget they have that idiot. Oh,
Just to bother him with the length. Josh Hart, I would think, would guard probably Drew Holiday because Drew wants to play physical. Um, so Josh Hart's probably the best matchup for him, which would leave Derek White on Jalen Brunson. I
I
mean,
That's a good
could
match.
you might put Drew on Jalen Brunson just because they're both physical.
not that Brunson's like a bad defender in any way, shape, or form, but I know Derek White sometimes will like to run around the screens
Hmm.
and kind of chase the 3-point shot. I don't really see Brunson chasing him around like that, so that could be an issue for them. So they
Yeah.
could swap it and have Hart on White and maybe Brunson on Drew Holiday. Because we don't know. Holiday will probably play, but is he healthy? So we might see him take like a little bit more of like a backseat role.
Yeah.
And if so, Holiday can score too, like crazy.
Hmm.
So either
That's
way,
another. Yeah.
Brunson might be in trouble.
That was another thing I was going to bring up is the Celtics really like to go to Drew Holiday's post-up game. But now Drew Holiday isn't being guarded by, you know, uh, what's his name? Corey. Well,
Corey
why can't I?
Kispert,
Corey
No,
Joseph.
not
Corey
Corey
Joseph.
Joseph. Corey Joseph. Yes, that's the name I was looking for. The old head. Yeah. He's not being guarded by Corey Joseph anymore. I know he was injured for this series, but hypothetically, that's who would have been on him. Now he has Jalen Brunson, who's a guy who also plays back to the basket as a guard. So it's almost like a match made in heaven for them. So I think Drew's going to really struggle to get those looks that the Celtics go to a lot. And I think that like Drew's going to have to be a playmaker this series. And he's going to have to look to beat Brunson off the bounce because yeah, that post up game's not working against Jalen Brunson, unfortunately. No matter how strong you are, that's probably the two strongest guards in the league, unless you guys can think of someone else off the top. But to me, those are the two huskiest, like strongest guys at that position. Which sucks because like we want to abuse Jalen Brunson, but I just don't think Drew's the guy. I think we're gonna look to get Jalen Brunson in a switch with anyone on the team and then go at him that way.
Either way, my prediction for the series, I'll probably take Celtics in six.
I'm going Celtics in 5.
Yeah, I'd go the same. Celtics in 5.
It's going to come down to Cat for me. Cat's the X factor for the Knicks. Is Cat going to be a factor this series, or is he going to just default to Jalen Brunson ISOs and just standing on the wing? Um, except now he doesn't have Jalen or Tobias Harris on him. Now he has Kristaps Porzingis on him. So if Cat can play his game well, I think this is going to go to 6. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening, so I'm gonna agree with the GMLB take here and go season 5.
I can see it now. A remake of the DeMarcus Cousins and Cat picture, but instead it's Porzingis and he has the stitches in.
The thing is, like, Cat could back down Porzingis, but like, I mean, it's just like any other lanky center. Like anyone could back down Wemby, but it's about scoring over the top of Wemby. That's the problem. It's the same thing with Porzingis. Um, I could easily see Cat backing him down, but how's he going to score over the top of him? Also, like Al Horford, super underrated defender. Dude, he had 5 blocks in the Magic game. Dude is and he's physical too. I think even he could give Cat problems. I'm not even playing.
100%, man. He
He's
wants
been there
that.
once or twice.
He wants that. He wants one more ring before he retires.
Y'all said he didn't belong in the Hall of Fame. If he gets that second ring, he's guaranteed.
Yeah, I
Remember
mean,
that.
that
There's a
probably before he won.
It was before, and it was because
it,
he.
and those 2 college championships too at
Yeah, that's a
Florida.
good point.
That does help a lot.
So we'll quickly touch. Finally, we got the Thunder. They're going to play the winner of the Clippers Nuggets. First of all, who do we think is going to win this series right now? Nuggets are up 3-2, and we're going to LA for Game 6.
When the series is tied at 2-2, the team that wins game 5 has an 80% chance at advancing. Well, last year, the Nuggets beat the Timberwolves in game 5 and lost. So they were on the butt end of that statistic, the bad end. That would be insane if it happened 2 years in a row to them. That would suck. The Clippers didn't look amazing in game 5, and I fear that they might be beaten in this series. So I might have to go with Denver because, oh my God, Jokic only had 13 points. Damn it, still had a triple double. Just he just dominates, man.
He
He
had
just
a
makes
triple
stuff happen.
double. He had a triple double kind of early in that game too.
Yeah, like it's points was probably the thing he was worrying about. I only watched the first half of that game last night, so I woke up to a little surprise. But yeah, I think Denver probably takes this one.
Dude, the biggest surprise has been Russell Westbrook and how good he's been playing for them, man. And if he keeps it up, I think it's going to be Nuggets. Nuggets taking this series. And we saw Jamal Murray put up 43 last night. He steps up. It's going to be the Nuggets winning, and I got them taking it.
So here's a quick question. Who do you guys think is more of an X factor for Game 6? Do you think Jamal Murray's going to have to score 30 again? Or I know he just dropped 43, but is he going to have to play a really good game, which I would consider like 30 to 35 points again for them to close this out? Or is it going to take Harden not having 11 points like he did last game? Because I think Harden is honestly one of the main reasons you could point to for why they lost. He had a really tough night, only 33% shooting, didn't hit a three, had more rebounds than assists with 4 fouls and 4 turnovers. I mean, basically giving them the game at that point for your starting point guard. So is it going to be Harden or is it going to be Jamal Murray for Game 6? I know you guys already said Nuggets, so I'm assuming it's Jamal Murray for you guys.
No, I'd probably say it's Harden still. I mean, he's the offensive engine for LA. Like, because you got to remember, Jokic only had 13. Some of the other guys, I can't remember, but I know Brown had a pretty good game. Gordon had a pretty good game. They have other weapons out there that can go out there and put together a 20-point performance for the sake of Jokic being a great playmaker and account for maybe all the points he missed out on. Harden is that offense, and they really need him to get going, both scoring and getting some assists out there. So I would say it's probably Harden.
Yeah,
He is the system.
series low assist for him at 5. I'm gonna say that it is the Intuit Dome, though. It is the Intuit Dome.
It did steal one there.
They could.
Do not
They
matter.
did.
The the way I thought of the question, or actually, go ahead, Miles. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm thinking. Go ahead.
Um, the way I thought of the question is just if Harden gets 30, are the Clippers guaranteed to win? Or even if he just plays really well. And I think that to me is a little bit clear. They could push and get a game 7 if Harden plays well. Um, so I guess yeah, that's my logic. To answer your question, if he has another 11-point game, then they're definitely losing.
Yeah. I
Okay.
don't know if the Nuggets close it out tomorrow, but I do feel like they do win this series, whether it's game 6 or game 7.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, I will probably. I'm gonna say the Nuggets close it out in 7. I'm gonna take Nuggets in 7. I think the Clippers get it done tomorrow, and then that series is going to 7. Um, so then we go Thunder Nuggets. Let's make this concise here. Do we think the Nuggets could win this series? Let's all give a percentage. What are the percentage chances that the Nuggets can win this series to you guys?
77.
Oh, interesting. For real?
Yeah, I do think they could win. I
So
mean,
like
it's just
you have them as favorites at that point.
I think he confused Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic.
what? Wait,
He's like, correction, 15%.
Yeah.
how I don't get the joke though, Vic, because
Because you
Luca's.
said 77 and Luka's 77.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I didn't see that. I didn't see that right there. Um, no, I mean, yeah, just veteran experience, a team that's been there before, and a team that desperately is trying to prove to everyone that they can do it again. Um, I really like this Thunder's team is unreal, but I think even at that point, experience will catch up to them. Um, and this Nuggets team isn't playing terrible by any means. And we knew that the West was stacked. We knew that every team seats like 2 through 8 were all gonna be really competitive with each other. And in I mean, not I don't know what the matchups this season look like between those two teams. I would assume Thunder beat them every time. But yeah, I don't know. I like the chances of the Nuggets coming out and just having a squad that knows what to do, knows
So
exactly where they need to be.
Nuggets and what for you?
If there's a game, if there's a game 7, I would want to give it to Thunder. So I'm gonna say Nuggets in 6.
I think the Nuggets can win, but they're going to have to play their buttocks off in order to pull it off. They're going to have to play pretty damn good to beat the Thunder. I would say they have a 40% chance at winning this series, with 6 of those games being Nikola Jokic masterclasses. Bro cannot have 13 points. You are not playing the Clippers. Not that he had a bad game by any means, but that's what it's going to take to
Yeah.
beat this Thunder team. They're freaking good. Shut up. So I will say Thunder in 6.
Okay. My thing was, go ahead, Vic. You can go first, actually, since I posed it.
I was just say, dude, like Kevin said, this Thunder team is really good. I think last year was their year getting that experience in the playoffs. They got it this year. I think they're even better than they were last year. And if I think the percentage that I would give the Nuggets is 30% chance with a slight chance of rain.
Um, so my thing here is I would love to take the Nuggets, but unfortunately, I don't see Michael Porter Jr. and Christian Brown and Jaden Pickett and Peyton Watson contributing against the league's best defense. I don't have faith in those players. I really think that obviously Jokic, Aaron Gordon, I think could have a really aggressive and good series against this team. Um, but then again, it's Jamal Murray. just inconsistencies this season. I know he just exploded for 43, but I don't see it getting done, especially seeing how they just played the Clippers and the struggle that they're going through, especially if my prediction comes to fruition that it's Nuggets in 7, and the Clippers take the Nuggets to 7 games. So I'm going to say that the Nuggets probably have, I would say probably around Vic, 30% chance of winning this series. I'm going to go ahead and take Thunder. I'm going to say it's going to be Thunder in 5.
Dude, my thing is I hate to count out the Nuggets, but it's just like you said, going against the best defense, and the Nuggets have had a lot of inconsistencies this year. They just haven't been a consistent team as we've seen that championship year. And I know Michael Porter Jr. is dealing with that shoulder injury, and it's just gonna be it's gonna be a really tough series for them.
Like, who is going to guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in this series?
Probably Christian Brown.
That's what I think it's gonna be Brown.
Brown, Jamal Murray will probably guard Dort.
It's just, yeah, they don't have enough, man. And now that the Thunder have playoff experience and they have Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet to deal with Jokic, it's wraps. Thunder in 5. These games against the Clippers are too close for me to be confident in taking the Nuggets for more than 5 games.
I will say that is the main thing that makes me want to drop my percentage down from 77.
Yeah, that's
can't-
insane, dude. You can't be serious.
I
There's no
mean,
way.
It's
You're
it was,
favoriting the Nuggets.
yeah, it's more
Heavy
of like
favorite. Heavy
yeah,
favorite.
yeah. No, heavy favorite. I know.
Like they're going to win, is what you're saying.
What
I
your
think-
percentage says is Nuggets in 5. That's like what that
Yeah.
percentage is.
No, yeah, you're right. And the more that I think about it, the more that I'm like, all right, 77 comes from me being like, I like Jokic, I love Westbrook, and I like a lot of members of that squad. So like, of course I'm gonna root for them. But yeah, in actuality, I still do think that they could win, but that percentage should be lower for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say now make your decision with logic.
We know you like
Yeah.
Westbrook. We know he's your favorite player.
Use facts versus feelings.
In that case, 47% chance. But then that means that I have them as I mean, the Thunder should be the favorites, I guess. So that makes sense. But in my head, Westbrook is shooting his game winner from the same spot that he did like 4 years ago in Oklahoma. Just
That was like 8 years ago.
yeah. Well, how many
That
years
was
did I
a long
say?
time ago. You said 4 years ago.
Oh, shit.
That was
Yeah.
a long time ago.
8.
That was almost a decade ago.
We need to get a who he play for on here. We need to bring back who he play for one more time. Well, that's going to close us out, GMLB family. We thank you all for being here. If you want to view the podcast in its full length, we are on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. If you want to view short form content, clips, and interactive games, we are on Snapchat, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram Reels. With that being said, we do have our email, gmlbfans@gmail.com. Email us. No one ever makes it this far anyway to see that email plug. But email us if you see this. We answer all emails on the show. And yeah, that's going to do it for us. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace.